The Om's dimension. Here it is.
You know what's on the other side, but you still want me to go in, don't you?
Ridiculously easy puzzles? Yes. Impossible Minecraft mechanics? Absolutely. The complete lack of will to conserve resources? Of course. Just know that if we stay in for too long, we all risk getting dementia. But that's a risk we'll have to take. Let's begin. In this video, I'm going to give you my technical analysis of the final 3 escape room videos released by intellectual YouTuber Omziscool, and ultimately, I want to analyze this escape trend as a whole and try and figure out how it's got to the point where escape rooms have become so embarrassingly lazy and easy to escape. But first, as always, we must start with the escape rooms.
I escaped a maximum security prison. The prison was completely made out of bedrock and was on an island in the middle of nowhere. We spawned into a giant room and in front of us was a villager. And the villager was standing on a pressure plate that was connected to a command block. And above the command block said remove netherite block. And that netherite block that it was talking about was right next to me. And behind the netherite block was the way out.
So if you're removing the netherite block with a command block instead of a piston, why not just make it bedrock? You can literally escape this room in 4 minutes by holding something down on the mouse button and going AFK. And I get that it's a design choice, but I just think it's stupid. So for my room, I'm just gonna replace it with bedrock.
And I went to the Freedom Tunnel. And inside the Freedom Tunnel, I saw a hidden item hopper. And inside the item hopper was a nether wart. So I started to spam right click and I found an item hopper and inside was a dead bush.
But then I had a very good idea. I used F5. See, using F5 gave me a whole new perspective and I was able to see
a hidden passageway in the corner. I noticed something weird. In the water, there was actually a hopper and inside was a spider eye. So I ran back into the main room to the brewing stand to see what I could make. But we needed water for a glass bottle. And I was trying to think of when was the last time we saw water. We can use this piece of wool to make the nether portal light up. So I went into the lava room and went to the secret entrance and then placed my wool right next to the lava. And then the wool caught on fire and the portal activated. And there was another sign in the room that said, yo, there's stuff here. And it was just a hole that led to a room that had a hopper inside. But it was 5 blocks high. And there was no way for us to access the room that was 5 blocks up. And there was no way for us to access the room that was 5 blocks up. And inside the first room, it was completely empty. I tried to look around to see if there was any strings like there was from earlier, but I couldn't find any. So I decided to leave the first room alone.
Man, I wonder what this room could be hiding. Wait.
They turned out to be fake bedrock blocks. They were just retextured maps. And behind it was a secret hopper and inside had 5 gunpowder. And with 4 sand and 5 gunpowder, I knew exactly what I had to do. And then I went to the iron ore and I placed it on top of it and used the button from before and lit up the TNT. And when it exploded, it actually revealed the item hopper right underneath. And inside was 1 gunpowder. Then went back to the furnace and placed my 5 signs inside. And 5 signs was exactly enough to make 5 iron ingots. So I ran to the crafting table and crafted my 5 iron ingots into a minecart. If I mine this rail and then place it in front of the room and then place my minecart on top of the rail and hop inside the minecart, we would now be able to access the hopper. Then I went to another portal and went back to the prison. And I ran into the main room. But when I got there, I saw something weird. Korean was just... Threw the potion at the villager, and it worked, and the netherite block was gone. So I started to run up the tunnel, but behind me, Korean was chasing me. And before I could escape, he killed me. This prison is made completely out of TNT, and it's gonna explode in 20 minutes. And my friend Korean coded it, so if I broke any TNT block, the entire prison would explode. And when I spawned in, the timer started.
The issue I have with this is TNT is insta-break. I'm standing in one of the beginning rooms to demonstrate this. I can break all the way out of this room in less than 2 seconds by just mining the TNT. And I had to add layers of wall just to make this harder. So you should definitely be able to get out before it blows up. Not to mention, you could just break one of the TNT, disconnect, wait for the whole thing to explode, and then log back in. Now again, I get that the point is that he has to get out without blowing up the prison, but still, this is a stupid premise. You can escape at any time, again, and he just doesn't because he has to do a stupid puzzle.
And after looking around for a little bit in F5,
But then I had a very good idea.
I noticed that there was a hopper underneath this platform. So I crouched to the side of the platform and opened the hopper, and inside was a dark oak sapling. So I parkoured over to villager Jonathan. Take my wood, Jonathan. We now have fruits. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with fruit. And if I eat the chorus fruit, it's a very small chance it's gonna teleport me up there. So it's basically useless.
Nah, what are you talking about? The odds of me chorus fruiting onto that platform are low. I'm sure I could get it first try. Watch this. Oh, shoot. Let me try again. I teleported outside the prison again. Come on, one of these days I have to get it. I'm certain I'll get it. How is it so hard to not escape this prison?
But when I was looking around, I noticed that villager Jonathan was standing on a hopper, and inside the hopper was a piece of bedrock. So now the only items we have is a blaze rod, a popped chorus fruit, and a chest. So I went back to the main platform to try and think of how I can melt the ice.
So how is Oms gonna melt the ice with a popped chorus fruit and a blaze rod? If you know the answer, then this puzzle is probably overdone.
And rod right on top of the ice, and after 5 seconds, the ice turned into water. Jump down into the next room. To get into this other room, we need to get at least 6 building blocks. And right now, if we use our chest, the crafting table, and the 3 end rods, we're only gonna have 5. But as I was looking around, I noticed that there was a hopper on the ceiling, and inside was 9 wheat. That's when I noticed it. There was literally redstone here the entire time, and I didn't see it. So I picked up the 4 pieces of redstone and kept looking around to see if there was anything I could do. And then I put the target block next to the redstone and threw the awkward splash potion on it. And the redstone activated and the ender pearl fell down. And then I threw the ender pearl into the next room. Right in front of me seemed to be the exit, but it was actually a command block that said it was the deactivate timer button. And right next to me was a hopper, and inside had 5 gunpowder. And there was also a room right next to me. And inside was a chest that said that there was blocks inside. So we had to find a block to be able to get inside the room. And the only other thing here was this lava path. And when I went in F5,
But then
I saw that there was a room on the other side. But we had no potion of fire resistance, so we couldn't just swim through. So I placed a sign on the lava source block and waited for the lava to go down. And inside the room was a hopper and a crafting table. And inside the hopper was 3 copper, a flint, and an iron ingot. And then I opened the crafting table, and I already knew the iron and the flint was to make a flint and steel. We could use our 3 copper ingots to craft a lightning rod. And so I ran all the way to the room with the blocks and placed the lightning rod.
Okay. We need 1 block to get into this room. Let's go see if we can get 1 block. Ah, perfect. This room right here has the 1 block that we need. Do you see it? Do you see the block that we can use to get up that ledge from earlier? What? Crafting table? What? What are you talking about? No. I mean the lightning rod, obviously. What crafting table?
And I used my 4 pieces of sand and my 5 gunpowder to craft a piece of TNT. So I placed down my TNT and used the flint and steel to light it up. And then I jumped off the edge and it boosted me to the platform. And with 30 seconds remaining, I was able to stop the countdown. So I started to make fun of Korean.
So this is it. This is Omz's final escape room. And just to give you a sense of how bad it is, I'm not even going to try rebuilding it. Why? Well, do you remember how in the other escape rooms, Omz could have escaped at any time if he had just waited a few minutes? It's the same thing here, but worse. First off, Omz spawns in a room that looks like this. Now there's glass on one of the walls, but he can't break it because of this Elder Guardian. This Elder Guardian gives him mining fatigue once every minute, which means breaking a block is impossible. But hang on, couldn't he just jump in the lava, kill himself, respawn, and then have up to a minute with no mining fatigue? Well, yeah, he could, except that actually it's a command block giving him mining fatigue. And less than halfway through the escape room, it just inexplicably turns off. In fact, when he loses his mining fatigue, he's not even 50 blocks away from the Elder Guardian, meaning the Elder Guardian must have inexplicably died too. Oh, and another thing, notice how there's no roof in this room? What's stopping him from just nerd pulling out? Well, I thought there might be barrier blocks on the roof, but then Omz had a very good idea. He used F5. See, using F5 gave me a whole new perspective, and I was able to see that his F5 camera went above where you'd expect the roof to be. If you move your F5 camera up to a barrier block, it'll get pushed down like any other block, even though you can see through it. So because that doesn't happen here, I can tell there's no barrier blocks on the roof, and he can just leave at any time. When he has blocks, when he has a boat, when he has water, and even if there were barrier blocks, look at this room right here. I'll show you a good view of it from the outside first, and now I'll show you the inside. Basically, this is a water maze puzzle where he has to get to the end of the maze before he drowns. Now, do you see what the problem with this puzzle is? I'll give you a hint. He doesn't have mining fatigue in this room. Alright, okay, so the escape room's bad and all, but why am I getting so angry about this? Well, to give the builder of this prison some credit, there's a few interesting puzzles here. Activating a slime block with a trident, using silverfish or experience orbs to step on pressure plates. The problem is that while these independent Minecraft mechanics are pretty interesting, together they do not sum to a puzzle. And that's consistent with a lot of Omz's escape rooms as well as escape rooms in general. No matter how genius your intended solution is, all that genius goes away when you make stupid decisions to get there. So while it looks visually pleasing, you gotta realize that the entire time the escapists are just pretending that they don't see the shortcuts. It's just the hard truth about trying to build a good escape room in Minecraft. But even then, it still isn't entertaining when you use the same puzzles that you and other people have used over and over again. What I'm saying is if you don't want to be made fun of by Kenadian on the internet, then you really gotta think about your puzzles. But why hear it from me when you can hear it from the one who started it all? Mr. Escape Room himself. Seawattgaming.
When I started doing the Minecraft prisons, it originally started on TikTok. It was these little 60-second videos where I would kind of explain the problem and the situation you're in and see if people on TikTok knew what the trick was. And people loved them, and I loved coming up with them. I knew a lot of obscure like in-game mechanics and like facts people didn't know, and it was like showing them a new fact. And a lot of people would be like, I never knew that. Something like daylight sensors being used as fuel. Like people don't know you can smelt daylight sensors. Like nobody's gonna think to do that. And I did not know what I was starting at that point because those started popping off. Videos on YouTube were getting 2 to 3 million, and then becomes the era of the like shark attack era, I guess we'll call it. And definitely the leader, crown jewel of this era was Omz. It was definitely people that saw these prison things I was doing, and that was kind of a trend, right? So they would come along, they would see, wait a second, I can just make my own prison and solve it myself and it'll get views. Like to the point where they were word for word ripping my intro, word for word like stealing the concept. But one of the biggest trends ended up being that Omz and some of these other leaders of it would really just make these prisons that were not like well put together or well thought out. The solution oftentimes would be that you had to break something and find something else behind it. But at the same time, like, he's a kid, right? I don't have any beef with him, or I'm not mad at him. I'm sure he was ecstatic about his YouTube situation. I'm sure if I was him, I would have kept doing them and I would not have cared at all. I think some of them were sloppy. He was a little more sloppy of the YouTubers, but again, most of them were like, they weren't really trying to make anything amazing. They were just trying to make a prison that they could bang out. It would hit the 8-minute mark and they could upload it. I think when you saturate it and people aren't pushing the boundaries and becoming super original, it's just natural that the viewers will get a little stale from it. Definitely made me want to make them less, seeing all these people just like completely like doing my thumbnails, doing my intros, doing all that stuff without credit and doing it to lower effort. It was just making me kind of sad. But I still think if you put a really creative twist and you work really hard, it's still a super viable type of video to do. And I definitely will be, you know, making a return to him at some point.
But I agree with what he said. Anyone who knows how to be entertaining can throw a bunch of brewing ingredients into hoppers around a bedrock box and get popular. But it takes a lot more skill to make an actual puzzle. And that's what bugs me so much about these escape rooms. They get millions of views and they may as well just be a big bedrock box with a fancy glowing exit and a few stations set around where you can showcase some quirky Minecraft mechanics and then walk away. They'll take no brain power because that's all they are. They are just Minecraft mechanics, not puzzles. Not solutions to puzzles, not challenges. And who even cares if it's physically possible? It's all just for show. But hey, those are just my opinions, so what does it matter? The only other escape rooms left on Omz's channel are unlisted, and I don't have a way to access them. And Omz, I guess that's the end between us. Omz? Okay. Right. I need to find my way out of here. Should be able to make a portal with the hoppers. Let's see if we can find a pickaxe. Why is there always nether wart in these? Just gotta build a portal. We can get this over with. What? Ah! I'm just gonna brew jump boost and swiftness, and then I'll be able to get away. Oh. Shoot! He's almost here. This is my last chance to escape. This has to work. Perfect! Oh, let's go. Come on, come on, come on! Okay. I'm never going back there ever again. It's all over now. Finally.